How do you believe God created life? What beliefs or ideas can Christians believe when it comes to creation? So, as far as from my research, there are three main beliefs. Okay, there's young Earth creationism. Then there are 7 theories or ideas that are very similar. They're really similar. But most famous in that group is intelligent design. And I think we've all heard that term. I think a lot of us have used that term, intelligent design. And lastly, there is theistic evolution. Okay, so those are the 3 main ideas that are most popular and that have the biggest differences. And I want to look at each one individually and just kind of give you an overview, kind of like a snapshot of each one. This is by no means a in-depth, detailed look at each one. Think of it just as like a Sparks Note version. But before we dive in to these different ideas, it's important to realize the commonality between these beliefs, the similarities, okay? Everyone in these different, who believes these different ideas, believes these things, okay? They all believe that life would not exist without God and God's intervention, okay? All of them believe that life would not exist if it wasn't for God, okay? They all believe in miracles, or the miracles that Jesus performed, and that God intervenes in our world. They all believe in sin and the human condition, and that Jesus came to redeem the world. All of these ideas believe in that. And really just the big umbrella, the main thing here is they all believe that God is the best explanation for the reason of life, for why we're here. It's really just a matter of debate of how God did it. All right, so let's look at the first one, young Earth creationism. All right. Some of the things that they believe in, this idea believes in the literal interpretation of Genesis 1 through 11. So basically, however it's described in Genesis 1 through 11, that's how it happened. They believe that the world was created around 6,000 years ago. The universe, Earth, everything was created 6,000 years ago. They believe that God created the world in 6 literal 24-hour periods of time. And this group is very willing to reject modern science and modern discoveries in favor of the Bible. So, modern science says the universe is 13 billion years old. Young Earth creationism is willing to reject that in favor of what they believe the Bible says. All right. Another big belief is they believe that death did not exist before the fall of Adam and Eve. So animals didn't die, and there was no death before Adam and Eve. All right. Now, this group faces a lot of criticism, and maybe you can see why. A lot of times you hear atheists or people who are critical of Christianity say things like, oh, you're Christian, like, oh, that means you don't believe in science, and you're crazy, you don't believe in science, you're ignoring science and reason. Okay, they're referring to this group. They're referring to this idea, like I said before, they're willing to reject modern science if it conflicts with the Bible. Meaning if there's any question, they're going to choose the Bible. Okay, let's talk about the second idea, intelligent design. I hear this phrase used a lot. A lot of Christians say they believe this. But there's one thing about it that I actually don't know. I actually think a lot of Christians would consider themselves theistic evolutionists. But we'll see. We'll get to it. Okay, intelligent design. This idea accepts the vast majority of modern science. They accept really most of it. There's one big thing that they reject, and we'll get to that. But intelligent design, they believe that the Earth is 13 billion, or not the Earth, excuse me, the universe is 13 billion years old. They believe that the scientific discoveries that have been made, they believe that they actually point to an intelligent designer. And their main belief is that, life this complex, life in nature this complex is not reasonably believed to have happened by chance. In other words, they think it's more reasonable that this life came together through an intelligent designer rather than by chance. Okay, this idea believes that Genesis 1 through 11 is not meant to be taken literally. It's not meant to be a perfect account of history. While this idea accepts most science, there is a pretty big idea that they reject. And this is where this idea gets a lot of critics, is intelligent design rejects macroevolution. Okay? Now, I said macroevolution, not just evolution. There are two different kinds of evolution. There's microevolution and macroevolution. Microevolution, intelligent designers do believe in. All right. And microevolution is changes within a species, right? So we look at a dog, right? Dogs, species of dogs. And there are many different breeds, many different adaptations, many different kinds of dogs. That is microevolution. They're changes within a species. What macroevolution is the idea that all life comes from a common ancestor, that from, a starting point came all species. Every species came from really the same spot, the same beginning, the same origin. Okay, so intelligent design rejects, they do not believe in macroevolution. Okay, so that means they do believe that God intervenes in nature to generate growth, right? Spontaneous introduction of new species. But after God intervenes in that way and he brings new species, then he lets nature do its thing. So that's intelligent design. Theistic evolution is a term that I don't think many people know, but let's talk about it. So theistic evolution, this accepts all, or pretty much all, modern science. Okay, they believe in the existence of God, right? A lot of modern scientists rejects the existence of God. Theistic evolution, they accept all modern science. They just think that God's behind it all. This idea believes that God designed, planned everything out, that God kicked off the Big Bang, right? But now he just sits back and he watches the laws of physics that he created do the rest of the work. So theistic evolutionists do believe in macroevolution. They do believe that all life comes from a common ancestor. So they believe in very little, if none, divine intervention in nature, right? In the laws of physics and nature, they believe in very little, if none, divine intervention in that. But again, that does not mean that God doesn't intervene in other ways. They still believe that God can do miracles, that that Jesus came and rose from the dead, that he can still answer prayers. They just don't think God has that hands-on intervention with nature. All right, so these are the three main ideas. I hope I kind of explained them, again, just in a SparksNote version, kind of quickly and easily. I hope this helps you guys. If you've had any questions, a big reason why I wanted to make this video is it was just hard to find information on these three topics. And I thought it would have been really nice to just have a SparksNote version of each of them. And that way you can just go deeper into the research, deeper into reading and all that kind of stuff from there. So I hope this helps you out a lot. If it does, please subscribe. You can send me an email. My information's in the description below. Reach out to me if you have any questions or if you want to challenge anything I said. I'm okay with that. Comment, like, share, do all that good stuff. But I really appreciate you watching this video, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.